Have you seen it yet? And it sounds like it's going to be a spectacular opening weekend for UConn men and women's hockey.
Yeah, just a couple of hours from now, the puck drops for a women's game tonight. And so if you're in the area, I believe tickets just have to be claimed. So obviously there's been much made about the men's tickets are sold out. So I know fans are bummed that for many reasons they might not be able to get into the arena this year with the seating capacity right at about 2,600 folks. So it's good that it's going to be sold out for all the men's games, but I think for a lot of people out there that are excited just to get a foot inside the door, that the women's team is top 15 in the country. They're going to be trying to hunt down one of those rare NCAA tournament at-large spots. So, that there's plenty of reasons to go out and see them. And I did get a chance to go last night to the ribbon-cutting ceremony, and it's as incredible and anticipated of a project as it should be. And that doesn't even include all of the stuff, the guts of the arena, and all of the stuff that Mike Kavanaugh and his kids are excited about with the shooting room and the hydrotherapy and just all the state-of-the-art stuff in that regards where, the weightlifting, they've got their own dedicated weight room, which not only helps the two hockey programs, but it relieves congestion at the other weightlifting facilities across campus. So it really is a boost for the hockey athletes especially, but it lifts all the other programs as well. And so, football's got its own facility, basketball as well. And so, softball, baseball, they're over at RISA, and lacrosse is as well. So it's just volleyball, field hockey. It just raises what all these athletes are able to do with spreading out their resources. And so, yeah, if you're a fan out there looking to see this absolutely incredible venue, and it is, a women's hockey game is probably on your radar over the next month plus.
Women will play tonight at 6 o'clock against Merrimack, and then back again on Saturday afternoon. They start at 2 o'clock at Toscano Family Ice Forum. That's against Vermont. The men will be taking on Northeastern. Before we get into the matchup, that game Saturday night, also on these Rob Dibble Show stations, 97.9 ESPN Hartford, 1300 ESPN New Haven. Adam Giardino will be on the call. All right, I did not let this phrase escape me when you were describing it to our listeners, and I heard a little bit about it on the coach's show, Adam, but a shooting room usually is for the rifle club of the college, not necessarily the hockey team. What is a shooting room? What's that like?
Yeah, it's a little different than what I anticipated. It's synthetic ice, so you go in there on sneakers. You're not in there on skates, but it's separate from the rink itself in terms of it's not on the ice. It's underneath. It's next to the video rooms, that sort of stuff. And you go in there, you log in, and it's basically, it's almost a hockey player's version of Topgolf in some ways. I mean, it's a little more serious than that, but it's all computer run. You get to track your numbers. You get to see how you're doing. You can have a bunch of different style of games. You can work on just, okay, I want to work on my left glove side. Okay, so we're just going to fire pucks there. You can change it so that the lights are flashing and, you've got to work on your reaction time on picking your spots and hitting those spots while you're picking them out. So it is. It's basically just a video game come to life, which is fantastic for these kids and working, making practice more fun. And I know, Dibs, you try to do that with all of your athletes and try to figure out a way not just to get them out there. You're going to have the kids that are going to work hard no matter what, but enticing people to be engaged and to come do extra work. And that's just one more layer to all of this. And I did say synthetic ice. So it's the pucks will glide on this surface like it would on ice. And obviously it's not quite as slippery, and the pucks basically get fired out at you almost as if you've ever seen a basketball player with one of those shooting cannons where it's underneath the rim. And so the pucks are automatically launched at you, and you catch and you shoot. And so it's not just stagnant. It's constantly, it's a constant engagement with this room. It's awesome. It's just a really, really cool thing that programs have. This isn't the first of its kind, but it's just something that really elevates what these athletes can work on.
Well, it's another amazing recruiting tool. We just had David Benedict on, the athletic director, and he talked about the baseball facilities and softball and now soccer, and now you got, you're talking about the hockey that they've been waiting forever to get their own on-campus rink, which is huge for a Northeastern team. To compete with the Boston colleges and the BUs and UMass and teams like that. Explain that to the listeners, Adam, that as a recruiting tool, instead of having to say, well, hey, you have to drive like 30 minutes to get to where we're going to play these games. It's on campus. You can walk from your room. You can practice 24/7. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that kids love. I mean, even at my facility, we allow these kids to come and go at will, especially the college and the minor league players that we have run through our facility. Explain that, that this facility, like the baseball facility, is there to be used for these athletes year round.
Yeah, it's supposed to be, this facility that they want to go and stay at. And there was a joke made last night during the presentations on how these athletes were like, well, I wonder, can we sleep here because these couches are nicer than our dorm beds?
Yep.
And, that's the kind of, so these athletes want to stay and be at this place at all times. In some ways, it's a little bit of a relearning for Mike Cavanaugh and Chris McKenzie, the women's head coach, because I'm sure that, you go to your office, these guys go to work and they're doing their film, they're doing their, all their normal stuff. And they've been so used to, for the last 10 years, not having athletes maybe poking their heads in the office or having to interface with their athletes 24/7. But right now it's a practice ends at 12, and Cav was saying that at 4:00, guys are still hanging there. And obviously they don't have classes right now. They're still on winter break for the next few days. So that'll change as guys need to go to class and these female hockey players go to class. But what it does is it just makes it home, and it raises competition among the athletes of, oh, this guy, he's getting an extra work. He's doing extra lifts. He's somebody that I'm fighting for playing time with, and it's friendly competition, but it's still competition. And so I think that having these facilities, like you said, it's huge for recruiting because it's too obvious that the flagship school in Connecticut has something like this, because that is out of every, with every of the four major sports. I mean, Connecticut, more than basketball, baseball, and football, they produce more professional hockey players. And so this facility makes sense to keep those kids home. And Cav has always said, we don't want kids driving through Connecticut to get to Boston College and Boston University and Northeastern. We want to stop those recruits in Connecticut and make sure that they have no reason to continue driving north. And this finally gives him and Chris McKenzie a reason to make that case.
All right, let's talk about the game. Northeastern in town to christen the Toscano Family Ice Forum as the first opponent for UConn men's hockey, a team that we lost to in Fenway, and there was some bad blood at the end of that game. I know you remember this. Adam Giardino, Houston Cartman got a game misconduct right at the end of that third period in Fenway. They lose 4-1 in that game. A really great game, really, from Northeastern, but there was a lot of contact. There was it was a physical game, and I feel like tomorrow night's going to be the same. And this is a game that UConn, now losing that last one to Northeastern straight up, they're going to have to get 3 points on Saturday night.
And the game misconduct on Houston Cartman was warranted, but it wasn't unprovoked, and so it was a retaliation. And I think that the retaliation that Houston gave was didn't quite even rise to the contact that he received.
I think, Dibs, you texted me that like, it's always the guy that's always
it's always going to be the second one in is going to get caught.
Yeah, exactly. And he got a really big cross check, and it was in the final minutes and all of that stuff. And so I think memories will be short. I don't think that this is going to be one where, and maybe this is just me as someone who's not on the ice saying that, but the game misconduct felt more isolated than like a culmination, and it wasn't a bookmark for the next game. It just sort of felt like, okay, this is Fenway, and UConn's a little annoyed, and they're down 4-1, and they had a goal disallowed in the third. So that, to me, I think we'll see a fresh slate. Especially, I don't think that these players and Mike Cavanaugh want to go out and win a game that's marred with penalties and physicality. And I think that there's going to be a whole lot of other juice riding on this game that will, I think, make that game a memory. And they want to turn this coming game into a memory as well. And so this is a Northeastern team that they have also not played. UConn gets tonight off, and Northeastern won't play tonight on Friday. And so this will be the next game for both of these teams since that Fenway game, which is a little unusual that they play back-to-back and they play exactly a week apart without anything in between. And so I think that Northeastern, they want to build on Fenway, and they're a team that is very much on the outside looking in after winning the Hockey East regular season title a season ago. And we talked about that, and we talked about how prior to the Fenway game that they had lost 8-4 to Harvard, and boy, did they bounce back and, give up 8 goals to Harvard, give up just 1 goal to UConn. And so I think for the Huskies, there's going to be, like I said, just with all the pomp and circumstance and emotion that surrounds this, and a brand new student section that's going to be right in the ear of Devin Levi for 2 of the 3 periods. The 70 seats, guys, that are directly behind the goal are going to be filled with the 70-piece band. And so he's going to have, no more than 15 feet away, he's going to have tubas and sousaphone.
Awesome.
So it's, oftentimes in these arenas, the bands are removed. Gamble XL Center, the band is farther away, but still impactful. Devin Levi, I don't know if he's going to be able to hear much for the 2 periods that he's there. It's just going to be, those students are going to be on him and really, really close. So it's going to be really exciting to see that dynamic play out and see how much I believe the number is 380 students have tickets, and they've been sold out. They sold out after 50 minutes, so right around 400 students will be in attendance and in that student section right behind Devin Levi tomorrow night.
Talking to Adam Giardino, UConn Sports, but also does a lot of minor league baseball around every level, AA, AA, and AAA. AAA, they're going to be doing automatic balls and strike systems. And how about this, though? ABS challenge systems similar to professional tennis. It's going to be 50-50 in the AAA games this season. What do you know about the automatic balls and strike system? I know that they're going to allow teams 3 challenges per game. You've seen the pitch clocks, all the other stuff. How has it been working at the minor league level?
I am excited for the challenges because, it makes you, and Dibs, this, it makes the coaches kind of put their money where their mouth is, and there's chirping from the dugouts all game. And so I think the home plate umpire will have a little bit of recourse just to kind of say, all right, well, if you think I screwed this one up, then just would you challenge it? And the Arizona Fall League had the challenge system, and there was a clip of Jason Dominguez, who is one of the top prospects in the Yankee system, one of the most ballyhooed prospects in the last 10 years of baseball, frankly. He's a guy that has received comps to Mike Trout, Willie Mays, not to put too much pressure on a 16-year-old when he signs out the Dominican. And so this kid was in the Arizona Fall League, which is basically it's a league for people that aren't familiar. After the season ends in the minors, every team sends about 5 prospects, and it's either top prospects in the case of Dominguez or maybe a guy that missed most of the season with injury, but he's healthy now, and they want to get more reps on a certain player. So pitchers, hitters, it's just and each of these teams down in Arizona are comprised of different 5 or 6 players from different organizations. So you'll have Yankees and Angels and Athletics and Diamondbacks and Cubs on one team, and it's just it's a little bit of like an all-star league in some ways. And so Dominguez I saw a video of him. Basically, he had a pitch down and away. It was called strike 3. He challenged it. It was real quick. He tapped his helmet, whatever the signal is. I think he open hand tapped the top of his head, and that was the signal to the home plate umpire. The video board out in left field immediately showed the K-zone graphic. So it's basically everybody in the ballpark had the transparency to see, all right, here's the pitch coming in. Where did it cross? No, it was down and away. So it turned strike 3 into ball 4, and he took his base. And there was no headset. There was no replay monitor. There was nothing. It was instantaneous. And so if that's the kind of replay system that we're seeing across the minors and all of these AAA teams and franchises that are getting this implemented, they have great video boards. That's what it's, in the AAA markets, these are major markets. And so they have the infrastructure to be transparent, to be quick, to show it to the fans. And if it works in any sort of way similar to what we saw on that particular clip with Jason Dominguez in the Arizona Fall League, I see no downside to 3 challenges per game per team. It will not blow up the pace of the game, and in fact, it will, I think, it'll empower the coaches and the players that much more.
All right. Now, was there like a group of people after that was overturned that stood up and screamed, "You suck, robot"? Get out of here. You're worthless. That's what I feel like we're going to be missing. Like, we're not going to have that interaction with the human being to embarrass the person for making a mistake. That's a little bit of baseball, baby.
I know. No, I'm with you. I love a good ejection, and I mean, that's, to me, that's awesome. And so, right, I think we'll still see it because, right, I mean, teams won't. You only get 3, and I'm not totally familiar. I'm assuming maybe if you get one right, you get to keep it, and you only get 3 bad chances. So however it works out, teams aren't going to be challenging every single pitch they think is close. I mean, they're going to be saving them, and they're going to be for critical moments and strike threes and ball fours and that sort of stuff. And so, yeah, I think a team will. If an ump blows ball 1, ball 2 on back-to-back pitches and it doesn't impact the game, yeah, you still might see your ejections. You still might see the cheering and the jeering because there's no sense in challenging it. The ump might have still gotten it wrong, but you're still saving them in your back pocket.
Hey, I can't wait for you to challenge my call so I could drill you in the ribs with the next pitch. Oh wait, that's 30 years ago.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Guys don't do that anymore. Adam, have a great weekend.
Did. I saw on Twitter you responded to, or you laughed at a video clip of you on a safety squeeze bunt. Where you
My wife did. My wife laughed at that.
What happened?
She tries to get responses out of people. So that was when I drilled DeCenzo.
Oh yeah.
And they always replay it and stuff. So my wife put the laughing face, and a lot of people responded to that. Hey, it's just interaction, man. You know what that's all about.
That's right.
Hey, have a great weekend, my brother. Thank you so much, Adam.
Thanks, Adam.
Thanks, guys. We'll talk next week.